Well, our prior analysis did state that we would potentially find some kind of entry down here at the areas of 278.14 to roughly 277.38 before making an upside here to resist at around the 284 to 285 level. As soon as we validate that support system, then we would head over to the next area that would be a very important and critical resistance to beat over in order for us to continue into the 299 to 301 target. And that, of course, is the areas between 288 and around 291. And of course, we came up to that very tough area and faced this downside here. Now, I did hear a lot of people screaming about manipulation and stuff, guys, but I want to just go ahead and kind of hone in on a couple of those things. Now that it's a little bit quiet right now and the trade is really not moving so much, I do think that it's important for us to kind of learn a little bit of a dynamic here so that we can understand how price action can move beyond this point here. But before we get started, please do me the favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, do everything necessary to get this thing to live long, thrive, and survive. My name is Arca. I'm actually coming at you here a little later than normal, right? Or earlier, 3:08 a.m. on September 6th, Saturday, on a very cool night here in Los Angeles, California. So guys, I want to go ahead and just get out of the way real quick, right? This thing here, guys. This is what my account looks like should you join the Discord, right? I put this thing up here on purpose. I do not offer copy trades or mirror trading ever. I'm the one and only Arca. I do have that little negative sign there, despite the fact that every member knows that I can be reached, right? I still have that there. Okay, now I know this. I'm doing this because of the scammers that are going to reach you as soon as you reach this area here called the landing pad. Okay, so when you reach here, an imposter that looks like Arca is going to get in touch with you by direct message saying for you to turn off your messages, and they're going to, engage in conversation with you. They're going to eventually talk to you about transferring over your XRP or a new mirror trading strategy, a cool, super comprehensive way. And they're trying to talk like me, right? They study me. And that's going to add a lot of turbulence, right? And they're gonna try to steal your money. So please make sure to keep your money. I am not asking you for that. I will never friend you first or message you first, ever. Never, never, never. Okay, guys? Please keep that. Please bear that in mind. With that said, the tiers are going to be changing here for the Arca Bulls trading team as well, team. Now that we're adding the new bots and adding the new the full service thing into the Discord, becoming completely private and to preserve this kind of safety, right? The price points are going to go up, so make sure to visit the link in the description below should you want to just pay a one-time fee. There's only 17 spots available now out of 30 that we put out just a couple days ago. So take advantage of that, guys, or else the monthly price will be around $59.99. Okay, guys. So thank you so much for that. And enough of the shilling here, and let's go ahead and continue on with our analysis. So I want to go ahead and point out a couple things for you. Okay, no, I know this is going to be a little bit out of pocket or out of the topic or whatever, but you need to know this. Check this out. Okay, so let's go ahead and visit this screen over here, right? And sorry about that. So this screen is telling you right here, Apple stock slips on Huawei's drops as Huawei drops trifold phone ahead of iPhone 17. Sorry. So this is not just a regular drop, though. There's also the potentials of Apple increasing the prices of their iPhone 17 in light of this, in spite of that, just regardless of it. So that, created some negative pressure in the price action. Now, next, I want to show you this too. Now, OpenAI, right, the makers of ChatGPT, right, on Microsoft's toes again. So saying this time it's about LinkedIn and AI chips. Now, LinkedIn is, Microsoft owns LinkedIn. So OpenAI is about to create a new jobs platform that's similar to LinkedIn, but with an AI backing to it, which is itself. Also, OpenAI may be actually creating their own AI chip where, Microsoft is no longer going to be, the provider of all these things, right? So they're going to become very much a smaller part of the investorship that they have onto OpenAI. Okay, so that created a lot of negative price action. So I want to show you that price action here. Okay, This is this is, well, we can even do it on an hourly time frame, right? So this is the hourly time frame here of Microsoft, and you can see that the time down there was roughly, you have the 2 red candles. This is pre-market, right? So the 30 minutes before the market opened, and then when the market opened officially, you have that huge drop, right? That's at 7 a.m. Pacific time, traditional trading hours. Now let's go to Apple and take a look at that as well. Okay, so this is the 7 a.m. Pacific time opening of that's when the bell opens, right? Like at the end of my videos, I will say I'll catch you at the bell tomorrow. Well, this is mañana, right? So this is literally it. Look at the price, right? It went into a huge red. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is because there's something critical to know here too. Okay, and that's the market capitalization. So Apple by itself, it's worth about 3.56 trillion in market capitalization, and Microsoft is, so let's just go ahead and take a look at this here, right? We can just go back here, and the capitalization is 3.68 trillion. So you have over guys, you have over 7 trillion in market capitalization, right? So that's a huge number. Now, why I'm mentioning this is because I can show you the total capitalization of crypto. So this is the total cap chart for crypto in general, right? It's not saying Bitcoin, it's saying everything. It is worth 3.76 trillion. So just those 2 stocks that we mentioned, not including Nvidia, not including Tesla, not including Meta, not including any of those the Mag 7s, right? Not including any of those giants. You were already at 7 trillion market capitalization with just those 2, and market dropped, right? Okay, so I want you to see here what time the total crypto cap dropped, right? Look at this. See down here, just like it did on Apple and Microsoft, there's your 7 a.m. Pacific time. So it's curious how that happens, right? Okay, what if we go back here and take a look at maybe, let's just say we can look at XRP, and we'll put this in the against the US dollar Coinbase right here. Look at that. You can see the time down here, right? 7 a.m. Pacific time. Exactly the market open when Apple and Microsoft did their little dances over here, like right here, 7 a.m., right? Now, what's curious is this too. Crypto cap was already kind of highlighting the potentials. This is your 30 minutes prior to the market open. That was already headed towards a weird way to the downside, right? And that also is very confluent to what was happening with Microsoft. Here's 30 minutes prior to the open. So what I'm trying to show you guys is that now that we have exposure through ETFs that are being built in the traditional markets for XRP, right? For Ethereum, for Bitcoin, all this stuff, we are finding more correlation to the broader markets. So that adds dynamics, right? It adds market dynamics, and it also adds a deeper psychological effect. So I want you to know that it wasn't actually any manipulation happening on XRP by itself per se. Okay, so it wasn't that. It was actually just that the AI manufacturers over there, and then Apple with their pricing and everything, and that created a gigantic amount of turbulence. So over 7 trillion market capitalization to be exact, right? In turbulence. So this is the entire market is going to shake. It's a big deal here, guys. Okay, so this is currently what kind of happened here. Okay, and which just so happens to be the area from the entry right at the area that we were trying to resist. And it just so happens that everything resists at that point and then continues to the downside. That's curious, you know what I mean? Okay, so that, but we did kind of expect that though. We did say that something like that would happen, right? We said specifically that as soon as we reach this 288 to 291, very likely we won't break out. It's probable that we come back and test your either your 285 to 284 or your 280, and that's currently what we're doing right now, right? So the lowest bound that we reached is 280, and we're sitting right now at 280.60. So that's introducing some stuff right now, guys, okay? And I realize that I'm not showing you the right chart here, but what I mean is this here, right? So we're sitting on XRP at the areas of 280 to 281-ish, right? So we wanted to make sure that we can go up all the way, just to repeat what I said, right? My apologies, team. Make it all the way up to this top side of a 288 to 291. We expected a potential 284 to maybe 280 back test. And this down here, check it out, it's 280 right in the money. And then we bounced to the upside, but we didn't clear enough to come back and start validating 285. In fact, we're coming back down towards the areas of 280. Now, should there be continuation to the upside, to the downside, because it certainly appears like it, right? Your new hourly candle is closing here with continuation to the downside. This typically does tell us that we may actually come back to either a local inflection, which could be your 280, but it could also introduce the probabilities of coming down to this overall low that we wanted, right? Which was around the 278.14 to 277.38. Now, I guess we can go ahead and just take a look at some of the volatility metrics here to determine if that can actually happen, and we'll do that through the means of maybe momentum against volatility. Should we do that? Well, yeah, why don't we go ahead and try that now? And you know what, I think this is even a good place to look at it too. All right, so yeah, we're gonna go ahead and start off here with a very, very tiny time frame, super granular here. We're gonna do the 2-minute time frame and observe what momentum is doing right now. Now, please remember that I was telling you a little bit earlier that we are completely contractive, and it's, we're very much not in action at the present moment, right? We're just kind of consolidating within tiny little areas here. Okay, so we are pivoted towards the upside here, and on the stochastic, and it does appear to have maybe an upside continuation. Okay, so it does show upside though. That's the primary basis here, is that it is pivoted towards the posturing is upside. All right, so that, let's see, that would be just around 3 minutes of upside total. So this is facing downside now. Okay, so the 3-minute time frame does have an average true range here, so that means that this can actually reach current ATR top of roughly around 280, and there it is, right? So 280.80 to be fair, and it did just before it went to 280.70, right? So if it can reach a little bit higher, fine, right? It could be at the top of the price action here, which would be physical targets of 280.76 to roughly around 280.81. And so downside would start from there. So, typically speaking, from that 280.70 to 280.80. And moving to the next time frame here, does it have a downside posturing too? Well, just certainly it does. And that means continuation into the 4-minute, right? And we still have downside posturing here onto the 5-minute with acceleration. Okay, 10-minute time frame still suggesting downside, right, on stochastic momentum. Still downside into the 15. I'm going to go ahead and speed up now that you can see kind of what I'm doing, right? As soon as we have an upside pivot, that's going to be the time frame where we can observe the total total move on the direction that we're looking for, right? So still downside, right? Still downside. Okay. Still downside into the 4-hour, 6-hour time frame, 8 hours. So just about 12 hours of downside, but that may have already happened, right? Because we've been existing here in the 12-hour. We still have what looks like to be, we still have about an hour and 39 minutes to close this. So this would tell you the ATR low would be 273.06. So if 273.06 is what we're given by the mathematics here, what was the support that we were just talking about, right? Let's go ahead and find out. And I think we may have had it either in this drawing here or in the other one. Well, yeah, it is here. Okay, so 278 to 277.38. And we were talking about a 273 bottom on this. Should we continue towards that 273 bottom? Well, let's find out what it is, right? It could be roughly around here. So let me go towards a larger time frame and find out what that's kind of looking like against everything else at a 273. So if it is 273, then it does have a hard target too, and that would roughly be around here. So I would say 270, what's the low of that red bar there? So that's going to be around a 273.87, right? So 273.87, and we do have another little pivot down here too. So yeah, I mean, it is, we kind of would invalidate at these lows too. So let's just say the two, 273.87 or 88 is fine. And we're going to kind of put this down to, let's see, nothing before that, right? And yeah, I guess we're going to have to do that tiny little support right about here, the highs of this candle here, which is, I know that you're not able to see it, right? So let me just kind of get out of the way there. This candle high, that would be December of 2024. So that would be a high of 272.67. Okay, so 272.67. Yeah, we're close enough there. Okay, so yeah, two potential areas of a zone where we can observe a bounce from. And should there be any continuation to the lower bound? Well, sure. You know, there's still this here, right? There's still this potential right about this point, and it's kind of a liquidity zone, right, guys? So I'm gonna do another little small one here for you, and that would be 275.87 to 276.29. So in sequence, right? We have these zones here that can be reached, but technically, technically speaking, mathematically speaking, your 12-hour time frame is suggesting, the lower bound right in here. And that would be okay, right? The liquidity grab of this zone down here would be 269.93, and then we could bounce again. Could it be actually that we're just maybe testing the 50% one more time so we can continue towards the upside? Well, I guess we may be able to tell, but the thing is how is psychology going to take it against how the price action is moving, right? That can always create its own type of it can always create its own type of turbulence, guys, and people will act the way they will, and that kind of hurts, right? I'm not gonna lie to you, it does kind of hurt. So yeah, why don't we go ahead and, you know what, now that we're in this chart here, let's just go ahead and load up the data cells. We're gonna load up the stochastic momentum advance and also the volatility heat map too, right? So let's just go ahead and load up these tools and just kind of continue from that 12-hour time frame, because the 12-hour time frame was the one that was telling us that would be the final downside, and we still have an extension of it. Okay, so the 12-hour time. Okay, so from there we do have an upside. Nice. Okay, so for the upside continues from the 12-hour, which would be the potential 273. Daily time frame. Let me see it. Daily time frame has a kink, and that still suggests upside right here. It's not perfectly downside. It's kinked, right? I know that's going to be a little hard to kind of see it there, but there's a kink here. It's like a V shape, right? Okay, so that suggests still continuation to the upside. And now there's another signal to consider that potential upside. That would be the inverted hammer, right? A true green outside bar. Good enough. Okay, now your 2-day time frame is also suggesting upside. Look at that. Okay, 3-day time frame suggesting the downside here. So that would be a total of 3 days of upside, seeing that we would bounce from the areas of around okay, if we bounce from 276, like we're saying, right, that would give us current ATR top. Oh, no. Let's see, a move. That would be roughly 27 cents, right? So doing it from your 276, that puts us right at the areas of around $3, right? The top resistance. So that's kind of what's happening here. And we still have, 13 hours and 34 minutes to kind of conclude this 3-day bar. So, but to me, this feels like we just got that open, peekaboo at the top, retrace 50% of this prior bar, continuation to the upside. That's what it looks like to me, guys. Okay, so it feels like we're just validating some supports before this thing continues towards the upside, and it, typically speaking, that's kind of how it works. Okay, so I'm not saying for you to drop everything here and just let's go to the moon or whatever, right? But yeah, and also here the 4-day time frame. This is a new 4-day open, right? And this is roughly at the 50% already. So should we need to come down and validate some supports? Sure, so be it, right? There's a 278 here. There's a 270, 275 here. That little wick to this little wick, maybe considering a 273. All the same targets there. Okay, guys. So yeah, I think we should probably give it a little give us some patience, right, before we can see what the outcome is going to be into the coming days. It's just price action over the weekend sometimes can get a little bit contractive, a little bit of a it could be consolidating, right? But typically speaking, the price action that follows that would be the best thing to do. It would be into the traditional trading, traditional equity hours, right, into Monday. But whatever is happening here is also a good thing, right? Because we've already kind of tested that 269 low, and this is the breakout, right? So we broke out of this point, bam, right here. We continued, and now it looks like we've come back to kind of validate these the conversion of these supports, right? We have to convert this support into the what was a resistance, right? We have to convert it into a support, and that's what we're doing here. That's typically how price action works, traditionally, right? So, yeah, guys. So, if you have any questions whatsoever, I know you know where to reach me, right? It would be arcabulls@gmail.com. I think this is a pretty good place to leave off the video. So if you have any concerns, just reach out to me, okay, team? I love you all very much, and we'll talk very, very scary, very soon. All right, guys. Adios, and adios. Please take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos as just a form of entertainment, as I cannot suggest for you to buy, sell, or hold any assets whatsoever. Ever, 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 ever. I need you to do your own due diligence, and everything will be cool. But with that said, team, I wish you well. A very, very good rest of your night and or day, and I will catch you at the bell on Monday. Adios, team. Oh, yeah.